a hotel can't hold you responsible. I mean, I would think worldwide. I mean, that's just crazy. So, again, I sleep a little better at night knowing that I don't have to write tsunami in the list of things that could happen in my force majeure clause.
Yeah.
Because I like it when it has a percentage sometimes, like if it's not possible for, 50% or more of your meeting attendees to make it to the meeting, I think that's fair. But, when 9/11 hit, I really didn't, there was a lot of renegotiations going on at that time.
Sure.
And the meetings that we did hold, the hotels were so gracious and we're really glad to get the business. And the ones that we didn't, we worked it out.
Yeah. So we got a question from the audience around what are some of the things that you are absolutely critical to the planner-supplier relationship around contracts? Can you just narrow in on a couple of those sweet spots that from your perspective as a buyer, you always want to see in your vendor relationships and contracts?
Well, one thing that comes to mind, and I don't know if it's directly answering the question, but is when I'm negotiating a contract and I have it in my Word document and I have my track changes and I'm redlining it and marking it all up, and I always have that fear that the hotel is going to think, oh my God, we decided on this piece of business, oh my God, she's coming back with all these red lines and stuff. And so I try to put it, in my email, or I pick up the phone and I say, can we just review this, because I'm seeing if I can get it.
So transparent communication.
Transparent communication is absolutely important, especially with email.
Yep. Roberta or Linda, thoughts around
Yeah,
this?
I was going to say, from a corporate standpoint of view, at Cisco, we really are under a strategic meetings management program right now. So we have our strategic partners and preferred partners that we actually contract with and use their hotels for our programs. So I have to say, we have standard contracts in place, and everything is built on relationships as far as I'm concerned, because it's attending meetings like today, knowing who you're going to deal with when you're going across the negotiation table. I think you develop this partnership of that, you want to be flexible. So when it comes time to contracts and things that we want in our contracts, particularly because we're Cisco, is, complimentary maybe IT services for our groups, because we live and breathe, by our computers, and
sure.
Having that internet access is really very important to us. So, you've got to think about weighing what is the price of a room versus what are some of those things that you can ask for as far as...
And it also sounds like know thy client.
And know the client.
So I'm just going to make it up, for Roberta's group, for ISMRM, it might not be technology access, it could be XYZ, whatever it is.
No, it's technology.
It's technology. So know that for Roberta's group, it's also technology access.
We have nerds as
well. You have nerds as well. So it really, you have to ask those questions and drill down there. I'm going to move on to virtual and hybrid meetings, and we'll keep going around this. Linda, give us a quick definition of the difference between a virtual and a hybrid meeting.
Sure. A virtual meeting can be a WebEx meeting. It can be a live webcast. It could be a telepresence meeting. It could be, let's say, a Web 2.0 technology such as Twitter or Facebook today. And then you've got the virtual platforms, which are very similar to Second Life, or On24 has it, or InExpo, or some of the agencies out there today that are really putting together these virtual platforms with the avatar bodies that you see. So those are virtual events. When you add the physical component to it, so you've got some form of virtual activity going on in addition to the physical component, then we call it a hybrid event. So that's really the definition.
So clear for everybody, the difference between a purely virtual event being wholly online, hybrid, mixing face-to-face, with technology and virtual. Tell us about staffing. Cisco is a real leader in virtual meetings. They've got the telepresence product that's in many hotels and many venues around the country and only growing exponentially in numbers. You might think intuitively that you might need less staff to man a virtual meeting, but I think that's not the case. Can you talk about why that is?
It is not the case. I have been planning hybrid events now for the last 2 years for our CIO of the company, and so it's bringing in the major core competency for Cisco, which is the IT department. And so what I have found out through these last 2 years, we have really had a global meeting, and so we've brought in telepresence units, let's say from either 5 or 6 locations.
Tell us about what these telepresence units are, just real quickly, to define what that is.
Sure. At Cisco, we have, if you consider a conference room, for an example, it's set up, and we have a telepresence unit that might have 3 screens to it, or 2 screens, and you're actually, has anybody here had the experience of seeing a live telepresence unit? Oh good, so some of you have. So basically, you're looking at video. Cisco is really big on video, and right now, live video. So you've got a speaker, you might have 2 or 3 speakers in a room together, and they're actually on screen, and you can actually look across at the screen, and it's almost like you're in the same room.
And many times they're in a matching physical environment that matches the conference room that you're in. There's other ways of doing
this. That's right.
So can you talk to them?
Absolutely.
Yes,
just like this. It would really
like
be
this.
that Linda's in a separate place physically across the planet, and we're having this conversation. We're sitting in the same chairs, and it looks like we're having a conversation.
Yes.
But
and
the speaker is in another location.
Yes. The meetings that I've had, like we've had speakers coming in from Bangalore, India, maybe one from Mexico. We have our location in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have Singapore and a big office there. So around the globe, we've got people stationed. And what we found as a best practice is from headquarters, for example, most of our leadership team is there. We will send out a leader to each one of these destinations as a best practice and pull a group of people together. So let's say we have Europe, maybe London is the central point. We have had people drive from Brussels to Europe. So
and send one person to that central
send one
hub
person
location.
to that hub.
Yeah.
So that way, there's a group of people that are actually still meeting together so that they still have that face-to-face interaction. We have found that that is the best approach in meetings going forward, is to still continue with that face-to-face interaction. It'll never go away.
You heard it here first from Cisco. It'll never go away.
It'll never go away. That physical component is really important. So the other thing that I found as the best practice is because when I'm program managing, I am not a technical expert. We have somebody here who's a technical expert. You hire good people around you. You are the orchestrator leader, but on the other hand, you want your executive expertise to be around you when you're planning these virtual and hybrid meetings. You want your expertise. So you hire third-party planners or vendors, I should say, vendors to come in and support you. And so they're the experts in technology, or you hire a really good production team. Or you hire internally within our own department, you know, there are people that are looking at within the telepresence group. WebEx is a Cisco product, so on all of my virtual meetings right now, I make sure that I have a WebEx technician on every single call. So that's where, you know, I don't know the technology, and I don't need to know the technology because the experts
That's
are there.
what you leave to the
That's such
experts.
a relief because I would just have this thought that with all of this new technology that it's becoming, it's more simplified, and people are using it more, that as a planner we're expected to go out and learn how to use this technical equipment. So thank you, I feel very
Tell us
I mean,
about,
and I have to tell you, at first,
Linda, tell us about some technical things that I do want to drill down on, like the term technology mapping. Very important in virtual and hybrid meetings. Tell us what technology mapping is and why it makes a difference.
one of the things when we're, like any event, you know, you're looking at all your strategies. So one of the things that we do for Cisco is we look at technology mapping. What technology choices do we have out there, and what are we trying to accomplish for this meeting? You really have to know your audience. Who are you trying to target? What kind of objectives do you have for your program? And then you have to look at your technology and say, okay, what technology really fits the best mode in order to get the attendee experience that you want them to have? So is it WebEx? In Cisco's case, is it WebEx technology? We use WebEx for our breakout sessions where we come together and form small groups of people, and we want them to have a little unified breakout. And so we make sure that we use WebEx technology for that particular item. Is it telepresence? I mean, because telepresence comes over a phone line, and that's the one thing, you know,